May I see the translation first, please? The great soul Narada Muni plays his stringed veena. When the great soul Narada Muni plays his stringed veena, the holy name of Radhika Ramana descends and immediately appears amidst the kirtan of the Lord's devotees. Like a monsoon cloud, the holy name showers pure nectar into their ears. All the devotees, due to great ecstasy, enthusiastically dance to their heart's content. All the inhabitants of the universe become maddened upon entering this intoxicating shower of divine sweetness. Some people cry, some dance, and others become fully intoxicated. The five-faced Lord Shiva embraces Narada Muni, repeatedly makes loud screams of ecstatic joy, while Lord Brahma dances very ecstatically and exclaims, "All of you chant, Hari Bol, Hari Bol." In supreme happiness, the thousand-faced Anantashesha sings and calls out, "Hari, Hari." By the influence of the transcendental vibration of that name, the whole universe becomes ecstatically maddened, and everyone tastes and relishes the mellow of the holy name. The holy name of Krishna has fulfilled all my desires by thus manifesting on everyone's tongue. Bhaktivinoda, the humble servant of the Lord, therefore prays at the feet of Sri Rupa Goswami that the chanting of Harinam may always continue in this way. Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramana Name. Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramana Nama Amani Udita Hoy Bhakata Gita Same. Nama Amani Udita Hoy Bhakata Gita Same. Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramana Name. Amiyadhara Vadishegana Shavana Jugale Giya. Amiyadhara Vadishegana Shavana Jugale Giya. Bhakata Jana Sagane Nache Bariya Panahiya. Bhakata Jana Sagane Nache Bariya Panahiya. Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramana Name. Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramana Name. Madhuri Pura Asobha Kashi Mataya Jagata Jane. Madhuri Pura Asabo Pashi Mataya Jagata Jane. Kehova Kande Kehova Nache Kehova Te Mane Mane. Kehova Kande Kehova Nache Kehova Te Mane Mane. Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramana Name. Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramana Name. Panchavatana Nari Devori Primala Sagara Rola. Lakshmadani Nari Devori Primala Sagara Rola. Kamala Sana Nachia Bole Bolo Bolo Hari Bolo. Kamala Sana Nachie Bolo 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 Hari Bolo. Kamala Sana Nachia Bole Bolo Bolo Hari Bolo. Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramana Name. Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Ramanandame Sahasranana Parama Sukhe Hari Hari Baligaya Sahasranana Parama Sukhe Hari Hari Baligaya Nam Prabhave Matilo Vishva Namarasa Sabe Paya Nam Prabhave Matilo Vishva Namarasa Sabe Paya Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramanandame Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramanandame Shri Krishna Nama Rasane Spuri Puralo Amara Asha Shri Krishna Nama Rasane Spuri Puralo Amara Asha Shri Krishna Deyache Iha Bhakati Vinoda Dasa Shri Rupa Pare Jache Iha Bhakati Vinoda Das Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramanandame Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramanandame Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare everywhere Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramanandame Narad Muni Bhajai Vina Radhika Ramanandame Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Gita Go Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Tago Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo Shri Narada Muni Ki Jai Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Mangalacharna Ki Jai Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Adadanas Tridam Dantar Idam Dyache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padam Bhoja Tuli Syam Janma Janmani Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Sadvatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namashreshtam Manum Abhishachiputram Atra Swarupam Rupam Tasya Grajam Urupurim Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramoho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tannatosmi. Hey Guru Gyanadadina Bando Swaranda Data Kuranai Kasindo Vrindavana Sinahita Avatar Prasida Radha Pranaya Prachara. Hey Dina Bando Kuranai Kasindo Kuru Prasadam Mai Mandamudhe Laksha Paradhe Bahupapagadhe Tatpada Padme Stumatishta Krishne Prata Shriman Navadvipe Dvinetram Dvijupujam Gurum Parabhaya Param Shantam Smaratan Nama Purvakam Tvam Gopika Vishraraves Tanayanti Kesi Sevadi Karani Guro Nijapada Padme Dasyam Pradaya Kurumam Vrajakanane Shri Radhangri Sevana Rase Sukinim Sukabdao Shiguro Paramananda Premananda Palaprad Rajananda Pradhananda Sivaya Manyo Jaya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Tinamine Shri Barshabana Videvi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Pravave Namaha Madhuryo Jwala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Sambhode Padambhujayate Namaha Namo Bhaktivinodaya Sakchirananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Viravava Bhomestvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarva Bhauma Shri Jagannataya Te Namaha Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Suratau Pangur Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarva Swapadambo Jau Radha Madana Mohanao Divya Drindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanastao Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devao Prishtali Bisevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasarasadam Pivam Shivatatastita Karshan Venuswanir Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestunaha 18 Thakur Godeyake Kari Achina Atmasad 18 Neracharan Vandon Tine Murnat Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vande Nandavardashtarinam Padarinum Abhikshnasha Yasam Harigato Gitam Punati Bhuvanatrayam Hantaya Madhur Abala Haridasa Varyo Yadrama Krishna Charanasparash Pramodaha Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayos Tayo Yat Paniya Suyavasakandana Kandamulai Vrindayai Tulsidevyai Priyayai Keshavasya Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Shri Nishinga Jai Nishinga Jai Jai Nishinga Pralada Desha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhutanam Adharmasya Tadatmanam Srajamyaham Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharmasam stapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mami vaishyasi yuktvaivam atmanam atparayanaha. Sarvadharman prityaja mamekam sharanam braja aham tvang sarvapapebhyo mukshayishami mashuchaha. Shushrusho Shradhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahatsevaya Vipra Punya Tirtana Shevanat Shinvatang Sakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantaksto Hipatrani Fidunoti Suhritsatam Nashta Praeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Tadra Rajastamo Bhava Kamalo Badayaschaye Cheta Iteranavitam Stitam Sattve Prasidati Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana Mukta Sangasya Jayate Vidyate Hridaya Grantish Chijante Sarvasangshaya Shyante Chasya Karmani Drishte Vatmanishvare Malihai Kareshe Bijarupan Shravana Kirtana Jale Kareshe Chan Tahan Vistarita Hoy Pale Prema Pal Ihan Male Sheche Nitya Shravanari Jal Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Shiksharta Meka Purusha Purana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shariratari Kripum Badir Yastamaham Prapadye Kala Nashtang Bhakti Yogam Nijamja Pradush Kartum Krishna Chaitanya Nama Avirbhutas Tasya Vinde Gadham Kadam Liatam Chitta Bringa Ajanulambita Bujao Kanakavadato Sankirtanai Kipataro Kamalaya Taksho Vishvambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Chaitanya Krishna Chaitanya Gaurango Dvijanayaka Yatinam Dandinam Chaivanyasinam Chasharomani Raktambara Darashima Navadvipa Sudhakara Prema Bhakti Pradashchaiva Shri Sachinandanastata Nityananda Vadhur Tendur Vasuda Pranabalava Janavi Jivatapati Krishna Prema Pradapabu Padmavati Sutta Shriman Sachinandana Purvaja Bhavonmato Jagatrata Raktagoda Kalevaram Chaitanya Matsamo Nasti Patma Naparadi Nakashchana Parihare Pilajame Kimbruve Purushottama Yuvatinam Yatayuni Yunam Cha Yuvatau Yata Mano Piramate Tadvan Mano Me Ramatam Twayi Bhumau Skalita Padanam Bhumiriva Valambanam Twayi Jata Paradhanam Twameva Sharanam Prabho Govinda Balabhe Radhe Prartai Twamaham Sada Twadiyam Iti Janatu Govindo Mam Twayasaha Radhe Vrindavana Dishe Karunamritavahani Kripaya Nijapadabja Dasyam Mayam Pradiyatam Nitai Namineche Namirhate Shadamulyanam Dite Chere Nitai Namineche Namirhate Shadamulyanam Dite Chere Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to all the previous acharyas, and to all of you who are tuned in to Krishna Katha today. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna. And we're going to take up where we left off yesterday. Reading from Prabhupada's introduction to the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, here we go. It is not that Radharani is separate from Krishna. Radharani is also Krishna, for there is no difference between the energy and the energetic. Without energy, there is no meaning to the energetic, and without the energetic, there is no energy. Similarly, without Radha, there is no meaning to Krishna, and without Krishna, there is no meaning to Radha. Because of this, the Vaishnava philosophy first of all pays obeisances to and worships the internal pleasure potency of the Supreme Lord. Thus the Lord and his potency are always referred to as Radha Krishna. Similarly, those who worship Narayan first of all utter the name of Lakshmi as Lakshmi Narayan. Similarly, those who worship Lord Rama first of all utter the name of Sita. In any case, Sita Ram, Radha Krishna, Lakshmi Narayana, the potency always comes first. Radha and Krishna are one, and when Krishna desires to enjoy pleasure, he manifests himself as Radharani. The spiritual exchange of love between Radha and Krishna is the actual display of Krishna's internal pleasure potency. Although we speak of when Krishna desires, just when he did desire, we cannot say. We only speak in this way because in conditioned life, we take it that everything has a beginning. However, in spiritual life, everything is absolute, and so there is neither beginning nor end. Yet in order to understand that Radha and Krishna are one and that they also become divided, the question when automatically comes to mind. When Krishna desired to enjoy his spiritual pleasure potency, he manifested himself in the separate form of Radharani. And when he wanted to understand himself through the agency of Radha, he united with Radharani, and that unification is called Lord Chaitanya. This is all explained by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj in the 5th verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. In the next verse, the author further explains why Krishna assumed the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna desired to know the glory of Radharani's love. Why is she so much in love with me? Krishna asked. What is my special qualification that attracts her so? And what is the actual way in which she loves me? It seems strange that Krishna, as the Supreme, should be attracted by anyone's love. A man searches after the love of a woman because he is imperfect. He lacks something. The love of a woman, that potency and pleasure, is absent in man, and therefore man wants a woman. But this is not the case with Krishna, who is full in himself. Thus, Krishna expressed surprise. Why am I attracted by Radharani? And when Radharani feels my love, what is she actually feeling? To taste the essence of that loving exchange, Krishna made his appearance in the same way that the moon appears on the horizon of the sea. Just as the moon was produced by the churning of the sea, by the churning of spiritual loving affairs, the moon of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Indeed, Lord Chaitanya's complexion was golden, just like the luster of the moon. Although this is figurative language, it conveys the meaning behind the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The full significance of his appearance will be explained in later chapters. After offering respects to Lord Chaitanya, Krishnadas Kaviraj begins offering them to Lord Nityananda. In the 7th verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Lord explains that Lord Nityananda is Balaram, who is the origin of Mahavishnu. Krishna's first expansion is Balaram, a portion of whom is manifested as Sankarsana, who then expands as Pradyumna. In this way, so many expansions take place. Although there are many expansions, Lord Sri Krishna is the origin, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. He is like the original candle from which many thousands and millions of candles are lit. Although any number of candles can be lit, the original candle still retains its identity as the origin. In this way, Krishna expands himself into so many forms, and all these expansions are called Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu is a large light, and we are small lights, but all are expansions of Krishna. When it is necessary to create the material universes, Vishnu expands himself as Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu lies down in the causal ocean and breathes all the universes from his nostrils. Thus, from Mahavishnu and the causal ocean spring all the universes, and all these universes, including ours, float in that causal ocean. In this regard, there is the story of Vaman, who, when he took 3 steps, stuck his foot through the covering of this universe. Water from the causal ocean flowed through the hole that his foot made, and it is said that that water became the river Ganges. Therefore, the Ganges is accepted as the most sacred water of Vishnu, and it is worshipped by all Hindus, from the Himalaya down to the Bay of Bengal. Mahavishnu is actually an expansion of Balaram, who's Krishna's first expansion, and in the Vrindavan pastimes, his brother. In the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The word Rama refers to Balaram. Since Lord Nityananda is Balaram, Rama also refers to Lord Nityananda. Thus, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Everyone please say Hare Krishna, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama.
Thus, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama.
How about Hare Rama, Hare Krishna?
Rama.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna.
Rama, Hare Krishna.
Rama, Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama. Hare Krishna Hare Rama.
You all are addicted to that sound. Thus, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama addresses not only Krishna and Balaram, but Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda as well. That's sweet. The subject matter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita primarily deals with what is beyond this material creation. The cosmic material expansion is called Maya, illusion, because it has no eternal existence. But it is sometimes manifested, because it is sometimes manifested and sometimes not. It is regarded as illusory. But beyond this temporary manifestation is a higher nature, as indicated in the Bhagavad Gita 8:20. Parastasmat tu bhavo nyo vyakto vyakta sanatanaha yaksak sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu navinashyati. Yet there is another unmanifested nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. The material world has a manifested state, vyakta, and a potential unmanifested state, avyakta. The supreme nature is beyond both the manifested and the unmanifested material nature. This superior nature can be understood as the living force, which is present in the bodies of all living creatures. The body itself is composed of inferior nature, matter, but it is the superior nature that is moving the body. The symptom of that superior nature is consciousness. Thus, in the spiritual world, where everything is composed of the superior nature, everything is conscious. In the material world, there are inanimate objects that are not conscious, but in the spiritual world, nothing is inanimate. There a table is conscious, the land is conscious, the trees are conscious, everything is conscious. It is not possible to imagine how far this material manifestation extends. In the material world, everything is calculated by imagination or by some imperfect method. But the Vedic literatures give real information of what lies beyond the material universe. Since it is not possible to obtain information of anything beyond this material nature by experimental means, those who believe only in experimental knowledge may doubt the Vedic conclusions, for such people cannot even calculate how far this universe extends, nor can they reach far into the universe itself. That which is beyond our power of conception is called achintya, inconceivable. It is useless to argue or speculate about the inconceivable. If something is truly inconceivable, it is not subject to speculation or experimentation. Our energy is limited and our sense perception is limited. Therefore, we must rely on the Vedic conclusions regarding that subject matter which is inconceivable. Knowledge of the superior nature must simply be accepted without argument. How is it possible to argue about something to which we have no access? The method for understanding transcendental subject matter is given by Lord Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna tells Arjuna at the beginning of the 4th chapter, Imam vibhasvate yogam pruktavanaham avyayam vivaswan manave praha manur ikshvakave bravet. I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. This is the method of parampara, or disciplic succession. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam explains that Krishna imparted knowledge into the heart of Brahma, the first created being within the universe. Brahma imparted those lessons to his disciple Narada, and Narada imparted that knowledge to his disciple Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva imparted it to Madhvacharya, and from Madhvacharya the knowledge came down to Madhavendra Puri, and then to Ishvara Puri, and from him to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One may ask that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, why did he need a spiritual master? Of course, he did not need a spiritual master, but because he was playing the role of Acharya, one who teaches by example, he accepted a spiritual master. Even Krishna himself accepted a spiritual master, for that is the system. In this way, the Lord sets the example for men. We should not think, however, that the Lord takes a spiritual master because he is in want of knowledge. He is simply stressing the importance of accepting the disciplic succession. That the knowledge taught in that disciplic succession actually comes from the Lord himself, and if the knowledge descends unbroken, it is perfect. Although we may not be in touch with the original personality who first imparted the knowledge, we may receive... Although we may not be in touch with the original personality who first imparted the knowledge, we may receive the same knowledge through this process of transmission. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that Krishna, the absolute truth, personality of God, had transmitted transcendental knowledge into the heart of Brahma. This then is one way knowledge is received, through the heart. Thus, there are two processes by which one may receive knowledge. One depends directly upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated as the supersoul within the heart of all living entities. And the other depends upon the Guru, or spiritual master, who is an expansion of Krishna. Thus, Krishna transmits information both from within and from without. We simply have to receive it. If knowledge is received in this way, it doesn't matter whether it is inconceivable or not. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a great deal of information given about the Vaikuntha planetary systems, which are beyond the material universe. Similarly, a great deal of inconceivable information is given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Any attempt to arrive at this information through experimental knowledge will fail. The knowledge simply has to be accepted. According to the Vedic method, Shabda or transcendental sound is regarded as evidence. Sound is very important in Vedic understanding, for if it is pure, it is accepted as authoritative. Even in the material world, we accept a great deal of information sent thousands of miles by telephone or radio. In this way, we also accept sound as evidence in our daily lives. Although we cannot see the informant, we accept his information as valid on the basis of sound. Sound vibration, then, is very important in the transmission of Vedic knowledge. The Vedas inform us that beyond this cosmic manifestation, there are extensive planets in the spiritual sky. This material manifestation is regarded only as a small portion of the total creation. The material manifestation includes not only this universe, but innumerable others as well. But all the material universes combined constitute only 1/4 of the total creation. The remaining 3/4 is situated in the spiritual sky. In that sky, innumerable planets float, and these are called Vaikuntha Lokas. In every Vaikuntha Loka, Narayan presides with his 4 expansions, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasudeva. This Sankarshana states, Krishnadas Kaviraj, in the 8th verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, is Lord Nityananda. As stated before, the material universes are manifested by the Lord in the form of Mahavishnu. Just as a husband and wife combine to beget offspring, Mahavishnu combines with his wife Maya, or material nature. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 14.4, where Krishna states, Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapata. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Vishnu impregnates Maya, the material nature, simply by glancing at her. This is the spiritual method. Materially, we are limited to impregnating by only one particular part of our body, but the Supreme Lord, Krishna, or Mahavishnu can impregnate by any part. Simply by glancing, the Lord can conceive countless living entities in the womb of material nature. The Brahma Samhita confirms that the spiritual body of the Supreme Lord is so powerful that any part of his body can perform the functions of any other part. We can touch only with our hands or skin, but Krishna can touch just by glancing. We can see only with our eyes. We can touch or smell with them. Krishna, however, can smell and also eat with his eyes. When food is offered to Krishna, we do not see him eating, but he eats simply by glancing at the food. We cannot imagine how things in the spiritual world, where everything is spiritual. We cannot imagine how things work in the spiritual world, where everything is spiritual. It is not that Krishna does not eat or that we imagine that he eats. He actually eats, but his eating is different from ours. Our eating process will be similar to his when we are completely on the spiritual platform. On that platform, every part of the body can act on behalf of every other part. And now we'll pause there and take questions that will illuminate or expand the subject matter.
Gurumaj, what does it mean when Prabhupada says there's nothing that is inanimate in the spiritual world? When we see a table, it is inanimate, right? So if a table is in a spiritual world, how does it have consciousness, Maharaj?
Well, everything is composed of conscious energy there. It's part of the Lord's internal energy. So all the forms there are conscious beings that are there to serve the Lord. Didn't you ever see cartoons from the old days when everything's animated? The chairs are walking around and the trees are singing and stuff like that. That's a depiction of the spiritual world. So the water, the grass, the trees, everything. Beauty and the Beast was like that too? Okay. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, I have a question regarding the expansions of Krishna into Balram and then Sankarshan, Mahavishnu. So, do we have these references of this hierarchy in Srimad Bhagavatam as well as other Puranas, or is it something we are getting from acharyas in our disciplic succession, in only our parampara?
These are all references from various shastras, because the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are all connected to Srimad Bhagavatam and other shastras. And for a complete tie-up of all the various aspects of this, you can read the Laghu Bhagavatamrita by Rupa Goswami. In that book, he gives all the various categories of the Lord and of his energies and the hierarchy, and the hierarchies, and he gives all scriptural references so that you can see where everything comes from.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, I have a follow-up, Guru Maharaj.
Yes, available through the BBT. It's
Yes,
it's a book that Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu provided. It's a very important book. There's a Brihat Bhagavatamrita and the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, so those two books are very important.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I mean, my
Hare
follow-up.
Krishna.
Okay, we'll come back to you, Kaptakarna. Bali, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I think Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. My one comment here regarding the paragraph, it says the Vedic sound is transmission of the in the mode of sound, and also Prabhupada mentions here that the knowledge simply has to be accepted. So, is it likely accepted means there is no mention of logically evaluated, or you need to verify the truth? So what does it mean accepted? Is it blind? So accepted means somebody can say just blindly accept it without further evidence, without further argument or debate. So how do you know that it is just accepted? Means it's like a commandment. How do you know that it is a kind of a
Well, first of all, Lord Kapila, thank you, Bali Prabhu, for your question. In the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila Dev establishes that one of the functions of the buddhi, the intelligence, is to doubt. Of course, in the Gita, Krishna says, "Ashadadhana purusho dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara sagara." That if you, for a person who's a doubting soul, he says, "Ashadadhana purusha," he ends up on the path of mrityu samsara vartmani. His vartma is the mrityu, and samsara for doubting. And then you find in third canto of Bhagavatam, Kapila Dev says, but the intelligence, the buddhi, one of the functions is to doubt. So that doubting must be there from the intellect to come to the right source of knowledge. And this is true in any philosophy. You have to have an axiomatic truth to start with, including in sciences like mathematics. In geometry, you start with something that you're proving, and you have axiomatic equations there that you obviously accept. That's why they're called axiomatic. So this is what Jiva Goswami points out in the Tattva Sandarbha. The first of the Sandarbhas to establish the epistemology of where do you get your knowledge from. And there he explains the various fallible ways of getting knowledge and the infallible way of getting knowledge as accepting it from a perfect source and by hearing. So when one comes to that point through using his intellect through doubt, and then can logically understand how it is that there is a supreme source of knowledge, and that the way to gather it is through a special channel called the disciplic succession, then one can devote one's intellect and heart to hearing that knowledge. And of course, we find even within the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita that the various devotees who are hearing this knowledge, they ask questions. So it's not that one becomes a dead stone after that. But one, Prabhupada mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, one should ask relevant questions. He says absurd inquiries are not helpful. So to be in the line itself, one has to doubt, one has to use one's intellect, and then come to a logical conclusion that one gets knowledge in a certain way. This is true in any discipline. If you go to medical school, I mean, if we ask our Neil Jariwala, Dr. Neil Jariwala, what his experience was in medical school, you know, he went into classes and they said, this is what the science says, and you simply accept it. So someone might say, well, that's just dogma. Why do I have to accept everything you say? And they'll say, you're not ready for medical school, son. This is Plato, Socrates talked about this point of accepting a self-luminous source. That source that is self-luminous. And Mahaprabhu brought that up to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also, that the Vedas are self-luminous. They explain themselves. You have to have a source that does that ultimately, because through speculation you can't come to understand the absolute truth. So once you understand that and you're convinced, then you can use you can retire that part of the doubting process and invest yourself wholeheartedly in hearing. I hope that helped, Bali Prabhu. Okay, let's see. There's a bunch of questions coming out. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji,
Okay, go ahead, and then Devavrata. Please go right ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Yesterday, one of my family member asked me, you said the conditioned soul, we have imperfect senses, and now you're saying all senses are imperfect, we don't get knowledge. Now you're saying you have to hear from a right source. Hearing is also one of the sense. How can you admit that sense to get the knowledge? Somebody asked me.
Well, because you can utilize your intelligence to understand what is as I just said, that there's axiomatic truth and that there's a source of knowledge that explains itself. It's self-luminous. And then as a child who doesn't know, for instance, what a microphone is, he asks his father. Father already knows what the microphone is, so he says, Father, what is this? And then the father says, this is a microphone. So because the father's an authority on it, he already knows what it is, and the child asks, what is it? Then there's a direct transmission of perfect knowledge, because he asked an authority and he heard. And then if somebody asks the child, what is this? The child will say, it's a microphone. He hasn't studied the engineering behind it. He hasn't even gone out in gotten out of kindergarten yet. But he accepts a perfect source for knowledge, and therefore he can therefore reveal it to other people, and he'll know what it is. So then this comes into the realm of understanding that, okay, so we can't know the absolute truth by our limited senses. But the Shastra says, Atashi Krishna Namadi Naba Ved Grayam Indriye Sevan Mukhi Jivado Swayameva Spratyada. That although it's true, our limited senses can't understand the absolute truth. If we serve him, then he can reveal himself to us. So the point is that although we're finite and the Lord is infinitesimal, we're infinitesimal and the Lord is infinite, there's a way in which through his infinite power, he can reveal himself to us. If that's his choice, he can reveal himself to us. So when we submit to the proper authority, we can hear, as is suggested by the Lord himself, and that's the way he reveals himself. So we talked about sound vibration the other day also, and how it transmits. So this is a topic that comes up in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, when the personified Vedas are discussing, and Parikshit, actually, the story is about Parikshit asking Shukadev how it is that a material eardrum and material sound coming through the cosmos can perceive spiritual sound. And the prayers personified Vedas describe that. Prabhupada gives a detailed explanation there, but his conclusion is, in the conclusion of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a person. And if he chooses to reveal himself, then it's all his energy, and he can transform whatever energy there is into energy that reveals himself. He can make material energy into spiritual energy. So when the sound vibration is taken in by a sincere soul who's hearing it from the right source, as Prabhupada wrote here in this introduction, through the right system, then one gets perfect transmission. One can hear from the Lord because he reveals it. Tesham ivanukam partam bahama jnana jamdamaha nashyam yat bhavasto jnana dipena bhashvata. This the Lord says that for the person who's endeavoring in that way, he illuminates their heart. And in the Vedanta Sutra, the Vyasadeva confirms anavriti shabda, by sound vibration we can become uncovered. Hope that helps. Devavrata? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
So my question is, in the beginning, it might be possible that one has like preliminary faith in the process of hearing, but due to the mixture of the modes of tamas and rajas, that faith may not be implicit. So is it just simply by continuing to give oneself to the process of hearing, the doubts that may be arising from tamas and rajas will gradually be dissipated simply by giving oneself to the process of hearing, and then the faith in hearing increases as one goes on hearing?
Yes, the proof is there in the Bhagavatam. Shrindvatam swakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana Shridhantaksto hibadrani vidhunoti suritsatam Nashta praishu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavat yutama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki Tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobadayashe Cheta iter navidam stitam sattve prasidati Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavat tattva vijnana mukta sangha sachayate Vidite raya grantish chijante sarva samshaya shiyante chasya karmani dushta eva manishvare, etc. So those verses tell how the Lord who's within the heart purifies the heart of a person who's endeavoring to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. And through that, the devotee gradually rises above the modes. Krishna is known as Vidhunoti. He works very hard within the heart of the devotee to take away the obstacles of the anarthas that are born of the lower modes of nature. And on just a technical level, like in the Yoga Sutras, there's this explanation of the kleshas, the miseries. They arise within the mind because of the vrittis, and these are impressions we take in from the lower modes of material nature, but those through the benevolent aklishta vrittis, the BAVs, one can overcome those lower impressions and replace them with higher samskars or impressions that get printed on the mind. And even for yogis, by the discipline of their practice, by swadhyaya, by studying scripture, by doing japa, and meditation, controlling the mind, as Krishna recommends in the 6th chapter of the Gita. But we do it by remembering Krishna. It happens naturally. That gradually we become, even the buddhi and the manas become illuminated with sattva-gun, and the heart becomes clean by the process. And then, yes, we become free from the lower modes of material nature. Have no fear. Just keep doing the process because it is guaranteed. And it takes a hearing over a long period of time. It's not a cheap process. And it says it happens quickly, but I mean, one lifetime goes by very quickly. I can guarantee you that. You're a young whippersnapper now, but in a few minutes, you're going to look down and go like, how did I turn 64? It's like that fast. And if you just keep your head in that book there that you've got, and keep chanting, then you'll also notice a lot of other things too. Hare Krishna. Shamalangi.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Guru
Krishna.
Maharaj. So I had a question. So when you read the introduction, we saw that the author says that Lord Nityananda is Balaram himself. I think he mentioned the seventh verse of the Adi Lila chapter 1, it's given. And then in the 8th verse, he says that he is Sankarshana, who is one of the Chaturvihas, like, out of the 4. So I was a little confused, and we also had a discussion earlier with some Mataji. So I wanted to check with you. Is he both? Like both are true?
Yeah, because he expands into the different forms. So the first expansion is Balaram, and then the Chaturvyuha, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudev, and then Mula Shankarshan, then the second Chaturvyuha, and then come the Mahavishnu, and then the Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Shirdakshay Vishnu.
So Lord Nityananda is, when we'll say he's Balaram or he's Sankarshan or he's...
You could say all three.
Also,
Sankarshan, Balaram, just like Advaita Charya, he's Advaita, but he's also called Mahavishnu.
Okay. Okay, thank you then.
Yeah. Departure eva hita shantanam abhyupetya dipayate varvata hetu samana dharma yas tadrageva hicha vishnu chaya vipati govindamari purusham tamaham vajami. Translation? Don't look it up, just tell me. It's the one candle, departure. It lights the other candles, and it's the same in its quality, but there's an original candle that lights all of them. Thank you. Oh, there's coming in from Facebook. We have Ananda Vrindavan who says, here Srila Prabhupada mentions that moon appeared from churning of the milk ocean, but it's not mentioned in that chapter of 8th canto. Also, as we read in the 2nd canto, moon and sun were created in the beginning of creation. Could you please explain? The moon appeared from the milk ocean. It's poetical. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like the moon, and then he appears from the womb of Sachi, which is like an ocean. Havi Prabhu, thanks for the brilliant references about the animated cartoons to explain how apparent inanimate objects are conscious beings in the spiritual realm. Yeah. Havi, my father said to me a year before dying, only yesterday I was your age. Oh, yeah. Amazing. My mother said right before she passed away, like a day or two before, she said, I never want to have to do this again. Thanks, Havi Prabhu. And then we have Prem Dham. How can I explain the principle of having faith on Vedic knowledge without argument to someone who has so much faith in science? Well, it sounds contradictory, faith in science. I mean, you have to have faith in something, right? And even science is ultimately dogmatic in a sense, because you have to accept some source of knowledge that's axiomatic. And why do you accept it? It's because it was told to you by some. You can't go back and do all the experiments and see for yourself. And even if you do, those who go further into science, the further they go, I mean, maybe a freshman scientist in college will say, I know everything. But then, like somebody who gets their MA, they say, well, maybe I don't know everything. And gets a PhD in science, say, we definitely don't know everything. The more you know in science, the more you know you don't know. Because the universe is infinite. How can you know it? Even small particles, if you enter in within them, one of our physicists told me that maybe it was Vrindavan Priya, that some physicists, they'll study one particle for 20 years and they don't even know what they're looking at. So the Sariputta Prabhu, in his book Forbidden Archaeology, really questions this absolute faith in science, and brings us to a position, a reasonable position through anecdotal evidence that really it's true. If you have faith in science, then that's another kind of faith. So why do you have faith in science? Tadiya Seva liked the point that we cannot imagine how the spiritual world works compared to how the material world works. We can't even understand how the material world works. Prabhupada used to point this out on morning walks with Sarup Damodar Maharaj. He would say, look at a lemon plant. He says you put a seed in the ground and then the seed grows up into a lemon tree and it produces so much ascorbic acid. Where did it come from? Out of the earth. That's inconceivable, he'd say. So even the material nature is inconceivable, and this is something that Shukadeva Goswami says in the 5th canto. When Parikshit Maharaj asked him, can you explain the universe? Can you say more about the universe? And Shukadeva says, well, I'll try. I'll just tell you what I know, but it's unlimited. I can just give you some samples of what it's like. Because you can't even touch the material nature, what to speak of the spiritual. Malini Devi Dasi said, we have copies of Laghu Bhagavatamrita available. That's a good idea. How much are they? And everyone who doesn't have one on the call tonight should take one. They could, you put down the PayPal and everything else at the bottom, Malini, and everyone will take a Laghu Bhagavatamrita. And if anybody's a brahmachari, you don't have money, then somebody on the call will sponsor it for you, okay? Namrata says, Krishna is called Anadi, Adi Purusha. Would it be correct to say that the jiva is Anadi? That is without beginning. But before the jiva was there Krishna? So how do we understand that the jiva is eternal? Is the jiva's eternality in the context of never dying, stopping existence rather than no beginning? The jiva has no beginning. He's Anadi, just like Krishna. He's co-eternal with Krishna. Just as the sunshine is coexistent with the sun, so similarly, the jiva is coexistent with Krishna. And Prabhupada gives this example when he was referring to the Mangalacharana of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, of when Krishna expands himself into his pleasure potency. And this is no question of when. Because we're used to material time, there's a beginning and an end with things. It's very difficult to conceive of that thing which has no beginning. The jiva is beginningless. Sharisha already asked a question. Ankita says, thank you so much for your class. It really keeps me going. I wanted to ask, what is the real purpose of Krishna's so many expansions? When Krishna himself can do everything himself, why does he expand himself? Is there something for us that we have to learn, or is it for his own pastimes? Can you please elaborate? The Vedas say, Eko Bahushyam. The reason that the one supreme expands himself is for his own pleasure, because variety is the mother of enjoyment. And so Krishna expands himself into many forms. That's one reason. The other reason is because he reciprocates with his devotees, and his devotees are unlimited. They're asankhya, the jivas, actually. And for all of the living entities and for all the devotees, he expands himself in a particular way to reciprocate with them. So they're unlimited forms for that reason also, as explained in the 3rd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, and it's for his own happiness. In Vrindavan, there's a kund that we visit, or we used to visit every year, or every day actually, on our Govardhan Parikrama, where it is said that Krishna used to play with his friends. They'd swim there. And Krishna, as a child, he would manifest all the different avatars there. And his childhood friends thought that was hilarious. They'd keep asking him to manifest the different, to the Kurma and Matsya. Okay. $20 for the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. So everyone who doesn't have one, please, you can go to the link and you can buy it. Dinanath Nitai Prabhu said, within the disciplic succession, a disciple simply repeats the teachings of his spiritual master. How do we understand the fact that the philosophy of Mahaprabhu is different from the philosophy of Madhvacharya? Thank you. Well, it's just as if you go to a school. Where I grew up at Lafayette Valley Estates in Lafayette. And my grammar school, kindergarten through 6th sixth grade was about a minute walk from my house. And you'd walk down there, and you start at the beginning of the school. It starts at the kindergarten, and you could walk past every classroom going all the way up to sixth grade. And if you walked by there on a day at Burton School, which is no longer there, I think, you would hear in each classroom the teachers explaining a particular philosophy, explaining mathematics in a different way. And if you went from the first grade or second grade, whenever they start teaching math, 2 + 2 = 4, up to the sixth grade, where they were teaching algebra or something like that, you would think that it was a different science, but actually it's the same thing. And the Vedas also, they have different aspects. It's a tree, Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Palam, and the fruit is the Bhagavatam. So now if you go to the trunk of the tree, there's bark on it. That's still part of the tree, but it doesn't taste like mango. Probably the taste of mango is in there somewhere, but the fruit's different. But it's all part of one tree. So whatever comes down through disciplic succession is all, the essence is there. But when it comes down into the fruit form that you get when you hear the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you're getting a manifestation that is something you can, Pibata Bhagavatam, you can drink it. It becomes the sweetest nectar, the fruit of the tree. Nigama Kalpatora Galitam Palam, Shukamukadam Rita Drava Samyutam, Pibata Bhagavatam, Pranamam Alam. That it's the nectar. Okay, David Vrata wants one, and if he doesn't have $20, I'll pay for it. Let's see, Gandharvika Radha, 1 Lagu Bhagavatamrita. Okay, we got a bidding war going on here because they're limited copies, so we may have to charge more by the time we get to the end of these. Malini put it down there. It's at BBT Academic. So if somebody could order one for Devavrata Prabhu, then I'll pay you back. Shukeshwari, Malini, 1 Tattva Sandarbha and 1 Lagu Bhagavatamrita. Tattva Sandarbha is out of stock currently, Malini says. Jai Kanai, Hare Krishna. Aniruddha Nitai Chand. What kind of incarnation is the holy name? Why is it called more merciful than Lord Krishna? So this is mentioned by Rupa Goswami. He says in the his Namamrita, Vacham Vachakamit Yudeti Bhavato Nama Swarupa Dvayam. He says there's no difference between the name and the named. And then he says, but there is a difference. The difference is that the name is more merciful than the named, although they're absolute and they're the same, because the name will come after us, even if we offend the named. And we're considered in the material world to be fallen, and we've become averse to Krishna. So even in that state, the holy name comes as an avatar of mercy from the spiritual world to the material world, and it pursues us. It's very aggressive. It comes after us, chases us downtown Palo Alto. People just expecting to go down there and have some libations and talk and look at each other walking by with their new outfits and stuff like that. But the holy name intervenes in their life, Hare Krishna, and then they can't get it out of their head. And the holy name then, Rupa Goswami says that just by hearing it one time, Tattva Andhanam, the blind person comes to know the truth. And so that's why the holy name is more merciful, that he'll come and reclaim you even in the darkest place of the material world. You'll find in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Lord Shiva and his followers, Gopakumar, when he was in the upper planetary system, he saw a big kirtan party getting ready to come into the lower parts of the material world, just to benedict the fallen souls by giving them the holy names. So that's the kind of incarnation he is. He's the most merciful. Okay, one more Tattva Sandarbha from Sukeshwari. Oh, sorry. The Maha Mantra, the word Rama is pronounced Ram or Rama. Rama. It's 2 syllables, Rama, in Sanskrit, Rama. In Hindi, you can say Ram. Every once in a while, Prabhupada, you can't hear him saying the second syllable, but you should pronounce the syllables, Rama. Rama, Hari, Hari. It's Iti Sodashakam Nam Kalikam Shanashanam. It's 32 syllables, 16 words. So that's your answer, because there's 2 syllables in each word, so it means Rama. Not Rama. Rama means the goddess of fortune, but Rama means, as Prabhupada said, Balaram, and there are other meanings as well. Okay, Gandharvika just placed an order. Krishna wants a Laghu Bhagavatamrita. I can pay for anyone who I can serve. Sukeshwari. Laghu Bhagavatamrita is for all my friends. I can order for Devavrata Prabhu, Malini says. Okay, thank you. You can get his address and we'll send it down to him. I'm paying. Taravali, Hare Krishna. Good to hear from you. Thank you. Dayanini, our cowherd boy who's saving the world through serving the cows. There is one Laghu Bhagavatamrita in the book room. I saw it today. A Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Yeah, we have those. We just don't have Tattva Sandarbha. And Ankit says, thank you for elucidating the process of inquiry, reflection. Our inquiry is our tool to progress in spiritual life as every inquiry unfolds into a new dimension of spiritual knowledge and at the same time acts as a weapon to protect from deviations of fake knowledge or path that we may encounter in spiritual life. That's very good, Ankit. Very good. He's a scientist. He knows how to think. Manisha Amras. I am having trouble to understand that it is said that countless universes lie in the pores of Mahavishnu, and at the same time, all the universes are floating in the causal ocean. Does it mean causal ocean is the body of Mahavishnu, or how do we perceive it? Or it's inconceivable. When Mahavishnu expands the universes from his own body, and they come out of his pores, and they come into the Garbhodak ocean as like a golden footballs, and within each one of those you have the universe, and then the Lord enters within those. So they're within his body, and he expands them from his body, these universes. Ankit, thank you for elucidating the process of inquiry. Okay, you put it on both places. Atulya Harinam, can you please explain how Sankhya philosophy is different from Vaisesika philosophy? Sankhya is a analytical dissection of the elements in the world, and basically, coming to a conclusion that there is Prakriti and Purusha. The Purusha is the conscious living entity, and there's the Purusha. Prakriti is the material nature, and the Purusha is the conscious living entity, and it divides up all the different categories of energies very carefully. And Vaisesika philosophy is nuanced in the sense that it describes how by atomic combination various energies become activated, and they have a very peculiar understanding, the Vaisesikas, about the nature of the soul, and that it manifests by material combination or under certain circumstances. So they're not entirely theistic. Whereas Sankhya comes to a conclusion of the difference between the living entity and the material nature. There's much more to be said about that, and very little time to do it right now, but we can go into that in more detail, the various darshans and the nuanced differences they have at a future time when we have about an hour and a half. Okay. Shraddha Devi Dasi says, thanks for the class. BAV, by Bhav, become a Vaishnav by benign Aklishta Vrittis. It's benevolent Aklishta Vrittis. And Bal Mukund said to everyone, we have a Tattva Sandarbha ebooks in stock if anybody wants to have it. That's nice. Yeah, so you should all get the ebook from Bal Mukunda. So write to him and everybody get the Tattva Sandarbha on ebook, because I don't know when it will be printed again. So now we just have a couple of minutes left. And if you have any more questions on Zoom or anywhere else, please let me know. Madhava Govinda said there are different levels of acquired knowledge: direct knowledge, knowledge received from authorities, transcendental knowledge, knowledge beyond the senses, and finally spiritual knowledge. When one surpasses the stage of acquiring knowledge by the descending process, he is immediately situated on the transcendental platform. From Srimad Bhagavatam 4:12-19, purport. Can you explain the above lines from the purport? Well, just the main point is that descending knowledge, when one surpasses the stage of acquiring knowledge by the descending process, he is immediately situated in the transcendental platform. Well, we're helpless, and the information we get from trying to take, did you say ascending or descending? Sorry. When one surpasses the stage of acquiring knowledge by the descending process, I'd have to see that in context, sorry. And I think we're out of time. Unless you want to show me 4:12-19.
It says descending process.
Okay, so let's see it. 4:12-19, please.
Guru Maharaj, while she's finding it, could you explain the analogy you said about the mango tree not having the flavor of the mango? I didn't understand how that connected.
It's all one tree. The Vedic tree is one thing. Even the Puranas are part of the Vedas. Shruti, that's proved by Jiva Goswami in the Tattva Sandarbha. So it's one entity, but it has different aspects. Just like the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, Advaya Gyan Tattva, but Vedanti Tattva Vidas Tattvam Yaj Gyanam Advayam, Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdite. He has different features. So the Vedas also have the Shruti, the Smriti, then there are the Itihasas, and so forth. And from all of the from the Vedic tree, there's, if you're going to use that metaphor, then there's...
Last week. Yeah. You know Scooby-Doo? It's like a movie for that. It came out on May 15th.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's one big tree. But there's a fruit and there's the bark. So there may be some parts of the Vedas that don't seem relevant. But there is a bigger project in mind in the Vedas to bring one ultimately to the transcendence. Trigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistrigunya Bhavarjuna, Nirdvanvo Nityasattvasto Niryoga Shema Atmavan. Krishna says it in the Gita, that there's, he's telling Arjun, like, don't get into the Vedas, because they're dealing mostly with the three modes of material nature. You have to, at some point, people have to deal with the three modes of material nature, because if you're conditioned, it's not that you can just come out of it automatically. So there's a progression. So the different parts of the tree of the Vedas. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is the fruit on the tree. It's the ultimate product that comes off of that tree that you can enjoy. You can drink it.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Doesn't have any skin or seeds. Okay, as soon as the symptoms of his liberation were manifest, he saw a very beautiful airplane coming down from the sky, as if the brilliant full moon were coming down, illuminating all the 10 directions. Purport. There are different levels of acquired knowledge, direct knowledge, knowledge received from authorities, transcendental knowledge, knowledge beyond the senses, and finally spiritual knowledge. When one surpasses the state of acquiring knowledge by the descending process, he is immediately situated on the transcendental platform. Dhruva Maharaj, being liberated from the material concept of life, was situated in transcendental knowledge and could perceive the presence of a transcendental airplane, which was as brilliant as the full moonlight. This is not possible in the stages of direct or indirect perception of knowledge. Such knowledge is a special favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can, however, rise to this platform of knowledge by the gradual process of advancing in devotional service of Krishna or Krishna consciousness. Well, I mean, there are various systems of knowledge, but when the Lord reveals himself directly to a person, it's beyond anything. Dhruva Maharaj, although he received information about sadhana, he used his mantra and he chanted, and then the Lord appeared before him. When he touched Dhruva on his head with his conch shell, Dhruva had direct perception of the Lord and was able to conceive perfect knowledge by the Lord's grace. So there's a way in which, through the process of devotional service, one comes to the stage of Buddhi Yoga, or direct connection with the Lord through that process, because the Lord reveals himself directly. Okay. Did everyone get a Laghu Bhagavatamrita? Malini, how many devotees?
Prabhuji, so far we have orders for 6 laghus so far.
Okay, if anybody doesn't have a Laghu Bhagavatamrita, then order. Do we have enough?
We have only 30 copies left.
Oh my God.
And BBT doesn't have it anymore. So we have only
It's a rare book. I highly recommend that you have it in your library. It's extremely important, and who knows, the supply chain might get cut off, and if you don't have a Laghu Bhagavatamrita, just don't say I didn't warn you.
The best way to get your copy is to order to BBT Academic, so we can have your address and everything right.
A BBT Academic. You put it right in there. Okay. And now we're going to sing a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur called Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole. Oh, there was one more from Ananya Radhika. Said, among the different Leela avatars of the Lord, one of them, Parusharam, he's also mentioned as the Shaktivesh avatar, who are usually the empowered living entities. Can you please guide on the right understanding? Thank you. Yes, there are many empowered living entities who have the same kind of power, a very specific kind of power invested in them by the Supreme. And as you go through the Bhagavatam, the acharyas will reveal which one of them are empowered living entities or which one are Vishnu Tattva and so forth. It hardly matters in the end, because the fact is that when they're empowered in a certain way, then they have the same kind of influence that the Supreme does anyway, by his grace. But everyone ultimately is an expansion of Krishna. Eti chamsha kala pumsa Krishna stu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakalam lokam hridayanti yuge yuge. This is the central verse that Rupa Sanatana Goswami put as the centerpiece for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy. Everything and everyone emanates from Krishna. So even Balaram, he's an expansion of Krishna, and you say, oh, he's the same, he's Vishnu Tattva. But we find out in the Leela of the Brahma Vimohana, when Balaram is witnessing all of the antics going on in Vrindavan for a year, when the residents have more affection for their children than they ever did before, and even the cows, they have more affection for their calves, even after they've been separated from them after a long time. They run back to them and so forth. And Balaram sees all these crazy things going on in Vrindavan, and he's wondering, is this some kind of a Rakshashi Maya that's creating all these crazy things? And little by little, he comes to understand, as layers are removed of Yoga Maya, that it's Krishna who's manifesting all these calves and the boys, who are or he himself, that is Krishna himself. And there, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained that even Balaram is subject to Krishna's unlimited power, what to speak of other living entities. And by the same token, anyone can be empowered by Krishna. So an ordinary, so-called ordinary living entity who becomes a Shaktivesh. So you'll see in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita and elsewhere in the commentaries of the Bhagavatam that Prabhupada gives, the purports, that various kinds of living entities get empowered by the Lord. Even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, there are living entities that are instilled with the same power as Mahaprabhu to bring others to Krishna consciousness and so forth. These are empowered living entities. And in some millenniums, there's a Shaktivesh avatar. For instance, oftentimes in the Kali Yuga, as you'll read in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, the Yuga avatar is a jiva who comes to bring the Yuga Dharma. But in this Kali Yuga, this is why it's exceptional, and it's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Krishna appears himself. It's not a Shaktivesh or an empowered living entity, but it's actually the Lord himself who comes for his own reasons. But it's our good fortune that he does. Sometimes Vyasadeva is an empowered jiva, and other times Krishna manifests himself to expand the Vedas. So these are details that are mentioned in the Bhagavatam and also in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita and elsewhere. And good to know all these things and to understand the various categories. But the fact is that there should be no surprise or disappointment that Parshuram or any other Shaktivesh, just because we say, oh, they're a living entity. Well, we're all living entities. And the amount of power or opulence that any particular person has is invested, or is they are vested with that energy by the Supreme Personality of Godhead ultimately. He's running the show. Oh, Javi just wrote something, but I don't see what it is. Okay, now we're going to have a little kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, KP here. Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavats.
Prabhuji, I think I just like the Gopi Pradhan Prabhu. One time in Bascom Temple, you mentioned how important to read Gopi Pradhan Prabhu books, Prabhu, because he spent all his lifetime for writing this one. So it struck me to my mind, Prabhu. The first, when I came to walk into the temple other day, I bought that book, so Laghu Bhagavatam. So thank you, Prabhu. It reminded me when you told me about that.
Oh yeah, thank you. That means there's a few more left, right?
Yes.
Buy the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. If you don't have it, get it now. The first part of it is a little technical. Do the tapasya and read it. Just read through it. If you don't understand everything, just keep going. And the last third of the Laghu Bhagavatamrita is extremely nectarian and easy to read. It's about devotees and how important devotees are because sadhu sangha is the most essential part of devotional service. But you should read it. It's part of the Gaudiya Vaishnava canon that is extremely important. Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Doyal Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman 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 Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Doya Tonai Hey Doya Tonai Hey Doya Tonai Hey Doya Tonai Hey Mo Doya Tonai Hey Mar Ke Prema De Hey Mo Doya Tonai Hey Mar Ke Prema De Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Hey Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Ore Aparada Dure Jabe Pabe Premadan Ore Aparada Dure Jabe Pabe Premadan Vichar Tonai Hai Vichar Tonai Hai Oh Name Apara Vichar Tonai Hai Oh Name Apara Vichar Tonai Hai Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Hey Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Takon Krishna Name Ruche Habe Gucci Be Bandan Takon Krishna Name Ruche Habe Gucci Be Bandan Anuragto Habe Hey Anuragto Habe Hey Krishna Name Anuragto Habe Hey Krishna Name Anuragto Habe Hey Toy Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Hey Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Tako Nanaya Se Sapal Habe Jivera Jivan Tako Nanaya Se Sapal Habe Jivera Jivan Jivanto Miche Hey Jivanto Miche Hey Krishna Divina Jivanto Miche Hey Krishna Divina Jivanto Miche Hey Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Chaitanya Bole Nachari Armarman Doya Nitai Sheshe Vrindavane Radha Shamer Pabe Darshan Sheshe Vrindavane Radha Shamer Pabe Darshan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so powerful that if anyone just becomes his devotee, remembers him, worships him, and serves him by spreading the Sankirtan movement, then automatically he or she will come to Vraj Bhakti, because Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahiyanya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha and Krishna combined, and he's freely distributing this most rarefied form of devotional service, the Ujjvala Ras, to everybody. So everyone should worship the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by performing Sankirtan, vigorously spreading the Sankirtan movement, chanting japa just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, reading the Bhagavad Gita and especially Srimad Bhagavatam just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, and always reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita from cover to cover. Start at the beginning, go all the way to the end, and start over again as many times as you can in one lifetime, wasting as little time as possible, taking Krishna Prasadam with advanced devotees, going to places of pilgrimage, especially Mathura and Navadvip, and spending time there hearing from the advanced devotees, worshipping Tulsi Devi, fasting on Ekadashi, following Kartik Vrat, and praying to the deity, worshipping the deity, walking through the holy places. And one will come to the point where one's heart is overwhelmed with love for Krishna by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And one may be sitting in a Zoom call with an IT company in a boring meeting, and everyone's watching, and then all of a sudden the devotee jumps up and starts dancing, just like in Kautakarnaka's ashram right now, singing Gaur Kripa Hole Hai, Gaur Kripa Hole Hai, Gaur Kripa Hole Hai, Gaur Kripa Daya Mitai Chaitanya Bole, Chariyar Marman, Daya Mitai Chaitanya Bole, Chariyar Marman, Chariyar Marman, Chariyar Marman. Nachariyar Marman, Nachariyar Marman, Nachariyar Marman, Nachariyar Marman. Hey, Tai Chaitanya Bole, Nachariyar Marman, Doyal Ni Tai Chaitanya Bole, Nachare Amar Man. Go Premanande, Nitai Goda Hari Bo. Haribo, Haribo, Taiko, Haribo. Vishnupad, Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Abhay Charanada Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gokupina Shamakunda Radha Kundigiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, everybody, from who joined us on Facebook and everybody here on Zoom. And if we didn't get to your question, Mayank Prabhu will save them and we'll answer them later. But maybe in the next millennium. No, we'll get to them as quickly as possible. Can everyone unmute, please, and say Hare Krishna? Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Say Hare Rama, Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Oh, Premanande.
Acharya Mamun.
Vaisesika. Vaisesika Prabhu ki.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Samved Bhaktivinoda ki. Jai Ho. Hare